Hello, hello. This is Amanda Kelly with This Art Called Life, day 10. Here we are, almost halfway through the 21-day journey leading up to December 21st here. So today I am going to dive into the long shadow of limiting beliefs, where they come from, how they block us, and also, of course, how we can begin to shift them. So beliefs, the last two videos, just to kind of recap a little bit, the last two videos I dove into this idea of shadows and the darkness. What does that even mean? It means these denser, heavier emotions, the things that get in our way of living a fully expressed life, of living in joy, all of that. So feel free to go back and watch those as well. But today I'm going to talk specifically about limiting beliefs because this is a really huge one. And I called it the long shadow for a reason. Yes, for looking at the shadow work, but the long shadow because this is something that follows with our beliefs are with us basically for our entire lives until we bring awareness to them and shift them. We can have the same beliefs that are keeping us stuck for literally our entire lives, or we can start to examine what our beliefs are, begin to question them and say, hey, is that actually true? Does it have to be true? Does it have to be true for me? And then we can start to pick them apart and reconstruct a belief system, a set of beliefs for yourself that is supporting your growth, that is supporting your expansion, that is supporting you and achieving your potential and the direction, and will bring you in the direction of, abundance and love and joy. So we'll dive in. So I actually want to start with, where do they come from? Because I think a lot of people are not even clear on how beliefs are developed. And a lot of people will call this programming or conditioning even. There's a number of words for it, but basically we are programmed in our first pretty much 7 years of our life is where we get most of our belief system from. Because when we're children, our brains are in a theta state and we're literally just absorbing everything from the environment. We have less of a filter and we literally are just sponges. And that includes stuff that, the people around us are not consciously giving to us, but we absorb it anyway. That includes emotions, that includes energies. And when we're that young, we're not conscious of what's happening. We're not conscious, especially when we're very, very tiny children. We really have no awareness of what we're learning and what's true and what's not true. But if it comes from mommy and daddy, well, of course we're going to trust that because we trust them with our lives. So if they're saying this thing, or if they're acting in this way in that certain situation, if they're acting in fear when something happens, we learn that fear. We take that fear on and we learn that belief of fear related to that situation. If they react in anger toward a situation, we learn that that's something that, we can react in anger toward. So we're just absorbing everything from our environment, particularly our primary caregivers in that first 7 years of our life. So this is literally programming, it's literally conditioning because we are not conscious of what's happening. And even as adults, we're not aware that, a lot of us are not anyway, that this is how our children become programmed. So bringing this level of awareness isn't just important for ourselves, it's important for the people in our lives as well, especially if we have little ones in our circle. So it's really important work. It's really important to become aware of beliefs and where they come from. And they come from our culture, they come from our society, they come from our community, they come from any exposure that we have, especially in that first 7 years. So then our brains start to develop and we develop those critical thinking skills a little bit more. However, it's in that first 7 years, most of them most of them are basically gelled. So it's a little crazy to think about when you think about it from that perspective. It's like, where do your limiting beliefs come from? They come from when you were a little kid. and it just shapes your entire world. So then we have to take a step back and say, hey, does that belief that I took on from my family apply to me? Does that belief that my mom was talking about, money doesn't grow on trees, is that, is that really my money mindset? It's this idea of scarcity. Does that have to be true? So thanks for the likes. So we really have to start digging in and diving deep and questioning those beliefs that we've taken on without any judgment, without any sense of, okay, I'm wrong for having this belief, no shame, no judgment, because we only know what we know. And then once we learn new information, that's an opportunity for us to take that on. And from there we can grow. So again, no judgment about where you are and the path that has brought you here. Now is the opportunity. Every opportunity you have in the present moment is an opportunity for you to shift in the direction of your dreams, of your goals, of your greatest expression. So just get curious about this whole process, get curious about your beliefs. And anytime a situation comes up where you're feeling limited or blocked, say, okay, let me take a step back. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling not good enough? Why am I feeling unworthy? It's sometimes they're, kind of silly beliefs, but like the whole I'm not good at math thing is a really prevalent one. I actually used to be a math tutor, SAT, academic. This belief is very pervasive, especially in women. Where does this belief come from? Well, it often stems from this very generalized idea that girls are not as good at math as boys. And that's a real shame. And unfortunately, there's a lot of math teachers out there that are really not great either. So that's a whole other story. But anyway, so these ideas become ingrained in our system often from one bad test grade or one bad teacher that we had, and it's a real major shame. So we have to, I say have to, please take that lightly, this is always a choice. But in order to do this work, it's important to take a look at where these beliefs came from, and sometimes you'll realize the root of it is like some kind of random little situation that arose in childhood, that arose in school. A lot of it comes from school and not feeling good enough, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, going back into our parents. Maybe there was just one time where we got injured and our parents said, oh, it looks like you're okay. And then, it turns out it was a little bit worse. And we, in that moment, didn't feel properly seen or heard. And it wasn't a devastating issue at the end of the day, but that stayed with us because it was this sense of not feeling seen or heard, the sense of abandonment. If maybe your parent didn't show up at the proper time to pick you up from school one day and you felt completely alone. These things, they run deep. So it's a process. It's something that we can journal on, but the excavation process, while it's not easy, is really, really important. And what we can do when we start to pinpoint what some of our limiting beliefs are is say, okay, what is the root of that issue? Is it a worthiness issue? Is it a not good enough? Did I feel rejected? Because usually the belief, there's basically like 4 or 5 like root issue beliefs that really limit us and limit our expansion and growth. So really start to examine, what is this a fear of? What is this, is this related to not worthy or, not good enough or wherever? Like for me, a lot of throughout my own progression was like, I'm not there yet. I don't feel ready yet. Well, what is that actually related to? Is like, I don't feel worthy of doing this thing. Because I don't feel good enough. So, who am I to do that kind of idea? So the root of it is where we really want to go. And when we find a belief, what we can start to do in order to shift it is to negate that and to create a new belief that is kind of the opposite, or it's more supportive. So, I'm not good enough. Well, I am, working hard and getting better every day. I'm getting better every day. I'm getting better every day. Something like that. And then, there's also a layer of fake it till you make it. But affirmations can be extremely powerful. This doesn't happen overnight, but it is, it's a powerful process once you actually commit to it. It's very possible to completely rewire your belief system. So it's really empowering to bring awareness to your beliefs. It's really empowering to then start to examine them and then ultimately shift them. So let me just take a look here and make sure that I want to. Oh, and another thing is we do always find people to support us in our limiting beliefs. So think about commiserating with friends and complaining. Commiserating and complaining is something that can keep us stuck. Now, it's nice to feel like people understand where you are, but there is a limit to it, in my opinion. And then you have to really get clear with yourself about, okay, is this somebody who is supporting my growth, or are they keeping me in this vibration of being stuck in this box? So you do want to get curious about the conversations you're having with people day in, day out. Are they the same conversations every time? Well, then maybe you want to try shifting the direction of the conversation with that person the next time you do see them. If they don't pick up on it, if they continue to fall back into the pattern, then maybe you want to, examine how much time you're ultimately going to spend with them, because we do want to surround ourselves with people who are supporting our growth, who are also inspiring us and are stretching us to believe in more, in the possibility that there can be more. So yeah, I'm not saying cut people out of your life, but perhaps you do want to take stock of who are you giving your energy to, is really what that's about. Hey, it's good to see you. So think about, who the people are in your life and who you're giving your energy to, and is that the direction you want your energy going? And you can always be the one to shift the relationship by all means. I'm not saying you can just say, oh, no, they're out of my life. Be the person to shift the energy, to be the stand for your friend or for your loved one. You can be that person, absolutely. So awareness of all of these things is so key. So anyway, yeah, I would recommend, this is a great practice that you can do. So take a look at your top 3 limiting beliefs. I'm not good with money. I'm not worthy of love. I am never going to be successful. What are they? What are these limiting beliefs that are holding you back? So, I attract the wrong people. So these are some examples that I have written for myself in the past. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of this. So really get clear with yourself and say, okay, is that true? Is that valid? Does it have to be true? Can I shift that for myself? Do I want that belief to be my reality, or do I want something bigger and better? So it's a choice. So, we basically create these rules for ourselves. Beliefs become like mini dictators of our lives. And the crazy thing is most of our beliefs didn't even come from our own experiences. We absorb them from our parents, we absorb them from our caregivers, we absorb them from our communities, and maybe just one little one-off experience completely impacted us at a very deep way, because we felt rejected, we felt not seen, we felt not heard, and we didn't feel worthy. And these things hit us at our core, especially when we're young. So beliefs really do control our lives. That's why doing this work on limiting beliefs is really, really important. So yes, I am just sending you so much love and support right now in doing this work and showing up for yourself, because again, I've been saying this in probably every video, but you know, doing this work is basically the hardest work that we can do. So yeah, congrats to you for showing up and doing this work. I just want to make sure I address everything. Yeah, so yeah, beliefs come from our childhood. They come from basically kind of outdated systems, outdated modes that aren't even ours most of the time. And most of them, if we dig down, are not really true, or they don't have to be true. You can choose a different reality. You can choose a different version for yourself. You can say, okay, maybe that was true for me in the past, but I don't want that to be my truth going forward in the future. I'm going to choose a different belief. I'm going to choose a different way of being. I'm going to show up differently for myself and for the other people in my life. So really getting clear with yourself on what are your values, what do you want your legacy to be in this lifetime, and are your beliefs, like, are they important enough to stop you from achieving your dreams? Are they important enough to stop you from pursuing your goals? So get clear with yourself on that. And it's always a choice, but you know, life is usually calling on us to expand. Life is about expansion. So when we are not growing, life will often force us to grow, but in the form of a crisis or a disease or something like that. It will force us to examine our lives, force us to examine our values. And it is our choice whether we choose to pay attention to those signs and signals that our body is giving us, that our life is giving us, that the universe is giving us. But once we do start to trust those signs, start to pay attention and follow the breadcrumbs, life will begin to unfold. And once we start to shift our beliefs into those that are empowering and supportive of our growth, our lives, we will blossom, and everything will be more and more and more and more magical and beautiful. So thank you guys for showing up for you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to sharing more over the next 11 days at least. I mean, plenty more to share beyond that as well. So anyway, so much love, sending so much light to you guys as you go through your own journey wherever you are. Thank you for showing up and shining bright. Onward and upward in love and light, guys.